Hey, what is going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. We are back with some fun and exciting news about the 2025 model year C8 Corvette. It's been a hot minute since I've made a video on the channel around Corvettes. If I'm being honest, I've kind of fallen off the horse in terms of making consistent content. Some of that has to do with a lot of the other things that I have going on outside of YouTube, and some of it also has to do with there hasn't been a lot of credible news around the C8 Corvette in the last few months. That may be predicated on a mix of the fact that the ZR1 is coming this summer as General Motors announced last week, but additionally with the E-Ray rollout debacle that's kind of going on in real time right now, the fact that they've made less than 1,000 consumer cars in the entire production cycle for 2024. I imagine General Motors is trying to keep a somewhat low profile around the E-Ray because of how bad the rollout has been so far. But we'll shelf that conversation for another day. Today's video is about changes announced around the 2025 C8 Corvette. That includes the E-Ray, the Z06, and the Stingray. And real quick before we dive into today's video, if you want to support the channel, do consider hitting the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And just like that, without wasting any more time, let's dive right into today's video looking at the 3 press releases for all 3 variants of the C8 Corvette. First up, we have some changes coming around the E-Ray. You're going to see some of these changes through all 3 variants of the C8 Corvette. The biggest news is that we have 3 new exterior color choices coming for the 2025 C8 Corvette. First off, we have Sebring Orange coming back to the C8 lineup. This was a color that was available for those that know for 2020, and then they went with the Amplify Orange, which took a lot of the metallic out of the orange paint, and it's not been a very popular color. Sebring was a much better color in my opinion, as well as most Corvette enthusiasts found the Sebring to be a better color, so it's nice to see that color returning to the C8 Corvette. Next up, we have Competition Yellow, which is a really vibrant yellow that was available in the C4, and that's going to be a fun color because the Accelerate Yellow, I had it, I experienced it for a year. Accelerate Yellow was a great color, but unfortunately had a little bit of green in it, which took away from like that bright attention-grabbing yellow that you really want in a yellow mid-engine sports car. And the last new color seems to be by popular demand. A lot of people have requested a purple color, so we have Hysteria Purple Metallic coming for the C8 Corvette. And as you can see from the press release, we have Sebring Orange and Competition marked as extra cost, but the Hysteria Purple is actually not demarcated as an extra cost color, which indicates, based on this press release, that Hysteria Purple will be a free color to order for the C8 Corvette. Additionally listed for the E-Ray, we have a Habanero interior coming, which is a new interior color. It's kind of like a burnt orange. There aren't any pictures around it, but I'm sure we're going to see images of this interior in the near future. But think of a dark burnt orange, kind of a little between red and orange hue. We're also getting blue stitching available on black interior, and then lastly we have a new caliper color called Velocity Yellow. That's a color that will match the Competition Yellow a little bit better, as the current yellow for the calipers has a hue of gold in it, which doesn't necessarily match Accelerate Yellow, but it doesn't quite match Competition either, so I think Velocity Yellow will be a good color that will match the paint for the 2025 Corvette. And last little note here, now standard on 1LT, 2LT, 1LZ, and 2LZ is a leather steering wheel airbag cover for the center steering wheel. Moving on to the Z06, same thing, we're getting Sebring Orange, Competition Yellow, and Hysteria Purple. We have the Habanero interior, again a burnt orange. Blue stitching will be available with a black interior. The same Velocity Yellow calipers and the leather steering wheel airbag cover will be standard. Additionally, the Z06 will have a 10-spoke wheel with 4 finishes. Here is a picture from CorvetteBlogger, a great resource for all Corvette news. Go check out their article that I've linked in the description below for additional emails, but to get a good idea of what this wheel is going to look like, it is going to have a 5-spoke design with split spokes, so a total of 10 spokes, and will be available in pearl nickel, gloss black, polished, and bright polished with carbon flash pockets, as you see in the picture here. Just a little personal tidbit, this is only shown as available on the Z06. I was kind of hoping that this would be available on the E-Ray, since the E-Ray has some abysmal wheel options, and the Z06 has some really good wheel options, so it would have been nice to see the E-Ray pick up this option. But according to this press release, that is not indicated to us at this time. And lastly, we move on to the Stingray updates. Same thing, we're returning a Sebring Orange, a Competition Yellow, and a new Hysteria Purple Metallic, the Habanero interior, and blue stitching with a black interior as we saw on the Z06 and the E-Ray. Same availability for the Velocity yellow calipers as an option, and the leather steering wheel airbag cover is now standard on the 1LT and 2LT, which was previously a 3LT or 3LZ option. The big thing to note for the Stingray is the Z51 Performance package now has a new spoiler. It is a lower spoiler, so it comes off the car like the high wing, but doesn't go as far away from the deck lid as the high wing does, so it's kind of a middle between the current Z51 spoiler and the current high wing. And once again, we can thank CorvetteBlogger for posting pictures from the Corvette Bash of this wing. They have additional pictures on their website, so definitely check that out in the description below so you can get a complete view of what this wing looks like. But taking a small sample size here, you can tell that the wing is definitely a lot more distinctive than the current Z51 spoiler. So to recap, we have 3 colors being introduced, a couple of interior options, some new wheels for the Z06, and a new wing so far announced at the Corvette Bash. And if I'm speaking specifically to my future for Corvettes, I am a little frustrated with the rollout of the Z06 and how abysmal that was, and somehow General Motors was like, nah, we're gonna one-up ourselves with failure, and the E-Ray has been a complete disaster. I legitimately camped out in sub-0 degree temperatures to try to get a high allocation for the E-Ray, which effectively means I'm spending $100,000 with General Motors to get the same buying experience as a cheap throwaway TV from Best Buy, which in and of itself is a very damning statement of how the E-Ray rollout has gone. But with that said, you guys all know I am a huge fan of the C8R that I had on the channel. I genuinely loved everything about that car. And I honestly think if I came across an E-Ray or a Z06 now, I would probably wait for the 2025 myself because I am really excited to see this competition yellow Tintcoat metallic in person. And I think that is the color choice that I would go with personally, which makes me want to wait for the 2025 Corvette. And since we are already at the end of April looking at almost turning into May, there's only a couple more months of 2024 production cycle left before General Motors transitions to the 2025 production and model year. Of course, that comes with a disclaimer, those dates have not been finalized to the best of my knowledge, and sometimes General Motors extends those timelines, so that is subject to change. But if waiting a couple more months gets me a 2025 Corvette in a competition yellow, then I definitely think I'm going to go through and wait for that color to become available. But that's everything that I have for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and hit the thumbs up on your thoughts of this video and this information, and stay tuned for more Corvette updates because I am going to get back to my consistent posting schedule around all things Corvette, Ram TRX, and other vehicles that I find of interest. So once again, thanks for stopping by, and as always, until the very next video, I look forward to seeing all of you in the comment section below.